When it comes to conservation of energy, there are many projects that your students can do. For me, I like to have my students choose the project of their choice. And that means they're going to choose between catapults and roller coasters. Hi, I'm Christy. I'm a middle school science teacher with 25 years experience in the classroom. And I love helping other teachers empower their students to take more ownership of their learning. Let's get started. Now, if they choose catapults, they're going to learn about the history of catapults, the science behind catapults. They're going to answer some questions about which type of catapult they're going to be doing. Then they have to actually do their own engineering design process where they have to brainstorm and research. They have to see what are other people doing to create catapults. And then they put it all together and create their device. Now, once they have the device, I have them test for not only distance, but accuracy. Now, in the past, I've always had a bullseye where they've had a hit, so they're trying to hit the center of the bullseye, and then they get points along the way. And at the end, we check for accuracy, where they have to actually shoot down a tower. The best catapults then will compete in the Battle of Wonderland, where I have these little cards, these large cards that are set up with the queen and the king, and we use the cups to make the castle. And they have this big, huge marshmallow competition battle between the catapults that won on one side and the other catapults that won, so the top catapults on each side, and they're shooting and they're trying to knock down the cards and they're trying to knock down the towers. So that's a lot of fun. However, this year, unfortunately, it decided to rain, which was uncharacteristic of our area. So it rained most of the time, which means I couldn't put our usual bullseyes outside and we couldn't have our Battle of Wonderland. Instead, I had them just go ahead and measure for distance inside our classroom, and we did set up an area for them to knock over the towers. So that's what we did and modified for this year. Now, for our roller coasters, my students had to also learn about roller coasters, the science of roller coasters, and answer questions about roller coasters. Then they had to do the engineering design process, where they looked at how can you build a roller coaster, what are some different ways that other people are doing. Their roller coaster had to be a certain height and it had to have a loop. And what they did was they measured the speed of a marble as it goes down the roller coaster and ends up into a cup. Now, one thing you can do, and I'm going to do this next year, is for the catapults and the roller coasters, instead of having one mass, you can have two masses to see how does their catapult or how does their roller coaster behave with different masses. For instance, instead of having them just shoot mini marshmallows, you could have them shoot mini marshmallows and large marshmallows to see does that affect the distance it travels and does it affect the accuracy in how many cups they can knock down. For the roller coaster, you could have two different size marbles, a smaller marble and a larger marble, to see how does that affect the speed of the marble as it's going down the roller coaster. Is one mass too much and it goes too fast and the marble flies off the roller coaster? Is the other one not massive enough and doesn't have enough energy then to get over the loop? So that's what I'm going to do next year when I modify it slightly. So again, with conservation of energy, you can have multiple different things that students can do to demonstrate their knowledge of conservation of energy, potential energy, and kinetic energy. And by having them choose their project, they are more engaged because they feel like they're taking ownership, they're choosing the one they want. No matter which project they're doing, the rubric is still the same. They're still having to learn about the history and the science behind these different projects, and they're having to do the engineering design process where they're researching, they're building, they're making blueprints, they're testing them out, they're modifying and iterating, retesting, and coming up with their best design possible. So that's what I do for conservation of energy. And if you stay tuned, I'll show you some of my students' projects that they've been doing this week.